CGP.
Cleveland Gaming Podcast.
Video games, culture, anime, toys, pinball, tabletop.
CGP.
Cleveland
Gaming Podcast.
Here we go.
CGP. This is the Cleveland Gaming Podcast.
CGP.
Time to press start.
What's up, fellow nerds, gamers, and everyone in between? You are listening to the Cleveland Gaming Podcast, the best podcast in all the land. And by land, we mean Cleveland. When it comes to retro video games, tabletop, and more, just listen to the intro. There's a whole list in there. My name is Cory. I'm the program director, MC of the main stage, number 3 on the leaderboard. But the good news is we got the high score man always with us. Number 1 final boss. His name is Tom Jenkins. Tom, we're back, baby, and happy holidays to you, sir.
Yeah, I thought I heard something on the roof, but I came down. Thought I heard maybe some reindeer up there or something. Did you hear that?
Dude, that's Krampus, dude. Be careful.
Krampus. Oh, I just was telling the kids, my 2 boys, Harrison and Hudson, was telling them about Krampus because I have a Dungeons and Dragons quest night coming up. But I don't want to spoil it because we haven't had it yet. So we got some fun Christmas themed things going on in the quest. No Krampus though. They asked me, is it going to be a Krampus? I said no.
No Krampus here, but you know, it is all about the family sense, us being here on the podcast. And the good news is Tom may be number 1. I'm definitely 3, but the good news is we got number 2 on the leaderboard in the house, and she's only number 2 because she lets Tom be number 1. It's our show producer, Kathleen Strawder. Kathleen, welcome to the show. Officially, you had a kind of a little cameo in the season finale, but now we get you here for an entire episode.
Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. So, is your family doing some fun celebratory things? Do you have Krampus? Have you seen, by the way, just kind of side tangenting when it comes to this whole holiday thing, the series of Grinch pranks that dads are playing on their kids? Have you seen that trend that's been around the socials?
On TikTok, yeah, I've seen it a bit. We're not that together. We're gonna just barely make it to Christmas and Hanukkah at this point. So.
Well, you certainly have a dual celebration, and we're kind of dual celebrating as well because this is kind of our first full podcast out of season 1 after the Cleveland Gaming Classic 2024. And, well, we're almost at the end of that year, too. So we're going to celebrate the holidays. We're going to recount some favorite holiday memories, along with a little retrospective on this last year, and so much more fun. But before we get into it, a few bits of housekeeping and upkeeping. This show, and of course, our parent product, the Cleveland Gaming Classic, is here because of all of you. Thank you so much for attending the show, following, listening, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all of the catch things that you say when it comes to content creation. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. So please do all those things, whether it is that like, the repost, the share. It helps us make this show about you and allow us to spread our love for classic video gaming, tabletop, cosplay, and more.
Cory, I'm going to interrupt you for a minute. I'm sorry. I know you... for the only purpose of two things really quick, listeners. Number 1, it's kind of a question to you, I guess, Cory and Kathleen. So is this officially season 2, episode 1?
Oh, I don't know, man. I didn't even think that far.
Well, no, so I'm going to vote for yes on that. I feel like this should be season 2, episode 1, even though it's part of the 24 calendar year, or is this the finale?
I'm voting against you. I think it should be wrap up season 1.
I think it's like a post-credit scene for season 1.
Oh, post-credit scenes, MCU post-credits. Okay,
that's it.
Okay, so all right, I'll agree with you guys on that. Question / statement 2, as promised. Holy shit, Cory, you still got it. We haven't done this podcast in like 3 months, and Cory's like coming out of the gates like we didn't skip a beat. So tip of the hat to you, Cory. Well done. I'm on here. I'm like, where's my microphone? how do I set up my computer? And Corey's just dropping knowledge. So amazing.
We also have a first here, and Kathleen, you get to be part of it as well, is I'm going to be able to use finally the full-throated censor sound effect, because Tom just like straight up dropped the S word unapologetically on the episode. It was the first big full-throated swear. I mean, you saw that, Kathleen. You heard that. That's great.
Oh, I did? Oh man.
Well, that's only because this is on my only full episode. You know me. I would ruin that for you, Cory.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's the MCU post credits. It's MCU post credits.
Where? Yeah.
You know, Kathleen, I think you're just inspiring us to really show our passion for the show, the holidays, and everything.
I was just so taken aback in that moment, Cory, how much you were rocking it out of the gate.
I mean, this is why they pay me the tens of dollars, Tom, to be a clown and say a bunch of words. That's why we
Heck
do
yeah.
it. We like to start with a little introductory question. Always, typically we ask, "What have you been playing?" Feel free to throw that in there. But it is the holidays, and what's better than a little bit of nostalgia with the holidays? So I would love to share if you have any classic holiday memories when it comes to gaming. To me, there is an inexorable tie between video gaming and the holidays. Like, I will always remember. I'll share my story first. My favorite holiday ever was when I got my first Bernese Mountain Dog, Klaus. We named him like Christmas Klaus. But the year after that, I remember that was the year that the Nintendo 64 was dropping, and I was like checking under the tree like every day in the month of December, looking for just that present in that shape of box of an N64. And we get to Christmas Day, and you're doing the whole Ralphie from Christmas Story at the end with the BB gun, and he's like, "Did you get everything you want, son?" He's like, "Yeah, mostly." "Oh, well, that's the way life is." "Well, what's that around the corner?" For me, my mom put a little sleigh above a big cabinet that I just couldn't reach, brought the sleigh down, and there's a bunch of fake presents, but in there was a Nintendo 64, and I'll always remember that. That was just a really fun extra step. Tom, do you have any special gaming memories associated with the holidays?
Not as touching as that. That's a pretty cool moment. Kudos. That's great.
I mean, I've got a pretty cool mom. What else can I say?
No, I don't think I have any. Probably just getting together with friends and playing Halo 2 and teabagging people. But other than that, that's all I can think of.
You are very good at playing Halo 2 and teabagging people.
I have one. Might not be my favorite holiday memory, but is a good segue into this this podcast. We do a game night every Saturday, the Saturday before Christmas. We've done it for years and years now. And before CGC was a thing for me, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Tom and I are cousins. So we have lots of family history. And do you remember coming over our house? It was probably when Lizzie was the baby or right before she was born, my oldest, so 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was at our old house, and you came over, and you're like, we had I can't remember what we had on our TV, and you're like, let's put on NBA Jam.
I don't remember that. I said that?
Yeah, you had everyone was playing NBA Jam, and I was like, that game is so stupid.
We played NBA
you
Jam.
Were playing, and in the back room we had like
you guys were playing like D&D, weren't you?
We played Munchkin that night. It was so violent.
That's right.
It was so violent. Right. And then we had the living room was playing NBA Jam for a long while, and then we were watching Star Wars Christmas Special.
I remember that. I was just gonna bring that up.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourselves?
We do it every so many years. We were watching it like every year, and then we were just like we were so sick of it.
But it was a big deal though. That was a big deal because remember you guys were the first that I had never even heard of this, and this is before Netflix and everything. And I don't even know how you guys had it, but you're like, have you guys?
Oh, we bought like a bootleg.
Yeah, it was like a bootleg. That's right. And everyone's like, "What? Where did you get this? Where have you seen this?" And yeah, I was like, "What are we watching?"
Yep. And I'm trying to remember how long ago it was because in the back office, it must have been before Lizzie was born because it was still an office. We were playing. We had an Xbox 360 and we had that little bar and we were playing Just Dance, or one of the dancing games. killing people in it. Killing, and I can't dance at all, but I'm very good at following the moves. And they were just dying because I was so bad at dancing, but I was so good at getting it to recognize my moves that I was killing everybody. People were pissed. But so we've got family game night on Saturday. The tradition continues.
Yeah, we will be there. You know, Cory, playing Munchkin with your family always goes well.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
No.
The
fair.
CGC road trip story there.
I'll account that. No, that's fine. I think we were taking a trip. I think it was the Korg's trip, maybe GDEX, one of those two in 2023.
I don't remember even.
And a member of your family came over.
John.
Yep. I didn't want to name drop, but have fun with it. You're more related to him than I am.
Sorry. Oh, no, you're gonna have to bleep that out. So.
But yeah, he was playing Munchkin, and I
would love to hear how this is recounted from your side.
So I have made it very clear that I am very passionate about tabletop games and board games and card games. Munchkin is a game I've played since 2003, like consistently. John plays this game in a different way than one might say the manual encourages. And I'm like really trying to keep this game on track. However, he is persistent with the way that he wanted to play the game. And I'm not gonna lie, I got mad. I got big mad. But the good news is him and I have worked together since then, so he's not mad at me and I'm over it. So all's well that ends well.
No. The good part was it was the best thing ever. John, he's my baby brother. But big, whatever. He was playing trash like we always do. It's like an aggressive trash thing that's how we play it.
It was
so aggressive.
It was literally Trash Panda. It was so bad.
It's so aggressive. It's so aggressive. And again, for those of you listening, and you know Cory, like it's the total.
Yes.
It's like oil and water. Like John is just like pouring it on so heavy.
Like, I'm the person with the books. He was the chaos gremlin.
Yes, and that's just how I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and that's just kind of been our dynamic, a bit of a chaos, right? And Cory wasn't. I don't think he was really fully prepared for that. But let's get back to the best part of it. John really thought he was going to win, and then Cory came in and just ruined him. It was so good. I mean, I was pissing myself laughing about it. I still do. I think about it sometimes. I think about it, and the look on his face, and John was like, wow, he really got me. And it was great. It was so great. And yeah, that's a good memory for me.
But let's just take a second though. Let's take a second because John is actually a very important member of the CGC crew as well.
He is. Yeah.
He helps out basically with anything. He's been there since 2021. He helps run the box office. He's also not afraid to run and do anything.
John's first foray with CGC, quick side story, I know story on top of story. We were back at Wagner's. John helped me at Wagner's Event Center, Westlake. John helped me coordinate the parking back then when Kathleen was in Disney, and she's like, what is happening? And John just is like, there's too many people here. I can't handle this. And he just like walks out the door. So that was John's first CGC experience. He's like, I don't know what is going on.
Yeah. So Party 411 events definitely has my siblings all working for it. It's been that way for a long time. They're very talented and very loyal and wonderful. And the first year we did help Tom with CGC, he came to me like 2 months before the event and said, I need help. And I said, well, I'm going to be in Disney, but I'll help you until then. And then I'll send my crew to help you. And when I sent my crew, I said, I'm not going to be there, but he's not listening to a thing I say. And I don't even know what's going to happen. You just need to get in there and help him as much as possible. I must have had like 14 calls that day from my crew. And next year was better, but that was the one. That was the
saying
first
how
one we
well
jumped
the
in
show
to
was
help
running.
organize.
Tom's doing a great job. He's got this all figured out.
Oh yeah,
Thousands
yeah.
of people here.
Right, that's when we packed Wagner's. That was
That was
first year.
insane. That was
So now, yes. So my sister. So I'm the oldest of four. My sister Christine, she runs our registration. She works at Party Foreign Events full time. She's one of our event planners. She's fabulous, and she gets everybody through the door super quick and very efficiently. And then John runs our box office. He makes sure that we have change and all of our IT systems are working and all of our iPads are scanning everybody in. And then there's another one, William, and he will just come in and do whatever. He's a kindergarten teacher by day. And so I've put him on the kids zone, and I've put him, what did we have him doing this year? I can't remember. He just comes in and does whatever I need him to do. So it's yeah. And then Tom, you have a bunch of your family working too. It's very much
your kids worked this year, Tom.
Yeah, Harrison worked his first time this year. Yeah, this is kind of a feel. It's turning. This is turning kind of into like a feel good holiday. We're all, everyone that comes together for the show.
But Harrison Hudson, they also worked the main stage.
Oh, that's right, they did. That was cute
because they shot the T-shirt cannon off.
Yeah, thanks for letting them do that too. That was really cute. So, and Lisa, of course, she does the merch. She killed it at merch this year. She did a great job, and she loves doing that. And then my folks still volunteer. My brother, I think, was out of town this year, but yeah, it's all a family affair, which is great. We're all family. Look at this. This is a holiday episode.
Cory's been initiated fighting with John over games. That's basically
right.
Just
there you go.
What we do.
I mean, how else do you get into a holiday family situation other than like raging out against your family members? That's perfect holidays.
That's what means you're part of the family. And also, we should do a shout out to everybody listening that does volunteer and is part of the crew too. We have a huge volunteer staff, and we've honestly become family with so many people that help us out with the show, from photographers to people that are helping with check-in, and just, friends of mine that still come from when we were Tecmo Cleveland. They still want to help and volunteer, which is so cool. So thank you to everybody that helps us out. You guys are amazing.
Well, the cool thing is we've kind of backdoored into the main thrust of the first part of the episode that I wanted to do, which is kind of recapping this year at the Cleveland Gaming Classic. And I guess, Kathleen, you being here, you kind of gave us a little insights on the equation of you and subsequently me as well, and our role and how we kind of integrate with CGC, because it really did start with that family connection. Is that Tom called you up, asked for help, and then since 2021, I believe, is when CGC has been closely affiliated with the semi-family company Party 4-on-1 Events. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Great. I guess I summed it up too well. I was expecting some follow-up or some more digging in.
Got it.
Maybe let's call that a framing mechanism, shall we? So
we just told you all the history. What else you want to know?
Now that we're all caught up, and we kind of talked a little about the history, and we started diving in and giving some appreciation. Let's talk about favorite moments at CGC. I want to throw this one out here. This one was really, really important to me, and I remember saying it to the three of us, because when it comes to planning this event, it really is the three of us throughout the year. We dive in, we have meetings, sometimes 30 minutes calls in the parking lot, like today with Tom and I talking about some plans for this next year. But I remember, I think it was like May or June, and I said to you, Tom, what is it that we can do to make sure that you have a lot of fun this year? Because as the final boss, you have to run around. You have to solve fires that no one else but you can solve, whether it's connection with the vendors, whether it's connection with our subcontractors, making sure that the wheels get greased in the right way. And my favorite moment, not close, was seeing you with your boys sitting in the front of Cosplay Masquerade and seeing you like watch it with your boys and just laughing it up with them and having a great time, and then them getting to shoot the T-shirt cannon at the RSF final push. I was really, really happy to see you got those moments, Tom, this year.
Yeah, no, it's trying to get a little choked up over here because I kind of feel the same way, right? I mean, we work so hard for putting on these shows every year, and it's to get just, Kathleen, right, with Lucas and Lizzie, it's the same. Just, and I appreciate everything you guys do to enable that, right? And in that moment, 100%. Like just getting like 2 minutes with them, and in that moment, it feels like it's like an hour and a half, right? Because you're kind of thinking of all these things to do. And I remember too, even so, thank you, Cory, first of all, for making all that happen and bringing him on stage with RSF. That was amazing. And then also too, there was a moment, Kathleen. Then I remember I had Harrison. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I gotta go. And then you offered to take him, and then he went with. I think the boys went with you. It's bad. I can't remember if it was one or both.
I had them both. I did.
Okay, there you go. But again, it's like this.
Yeah.
I mean, we're family, but we're also family, in the show, where in that moment, it's like, trust each other in that time together and seeing everybody do the thing. And I remember, Kathleen, seeing you with your kids. And in that moment, you're like, this is your space. You need it. Like, you got to be in a bubble because you have to enjoy it for that 90 seconds, right?
It was a goal this year to try and give us each a little bit more of what we needed. I feel like last year was with the move to the large room at the IX Center. That was operationally very rough for us because it was just a big space and it was a lot of moving parts. And I mean, it went well, but it went well because we ran ourselves really ragged. And this year, I feel like we really hit more of a groove, and we were able to carve out some really fun moments for all of us. And I thought that was great. So
that was my favorite moment, is seeing you with your kids, and also seeing your kids as well, Kathleen. But I see them like every other day, quite frankly.
yeah.
But Tom, do you have a moment that stood out to you? Besides like the kid moment, which I think is really valuable, but we kind of covered that. Was there another moment that you loved seeing, whether it was maybe something with Tommy and RSF or the Mortal Kombat guys, or I really enjoyed seeing the two of you give the award for the best vendor booth and seeing that retroactively. I thought that was great too.
Yeah, those are all amazing moments and some new stuff like we're doing this year, which is really great. I honestly, it's like, for me, I don't know, it's like the little things, right? And I'd have people that would come up to me and I'd seen them like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I always love what's different about our show, right? Obviously that we run it, we do it, we're Clevelanders, this is our thing. But in going up and engaging people, and these are people whether I know or don't know, and they're like, we've been here for 3 days. I'm like, hey, I saw you guys yesterday. Hey, I saw you guys the day before. And they're telling you like, yes, we look forward to this event, and this is the biggest thing for us all year. And there's this one friend, Kristen and Fred, and they've been friends of ours for years, and they bring their kids to the show. And like, we look forward to the show every year. And they're literally there like 8 hours every day. So that to me was like a really cool moment. There was another friend of mine, Dan. He, again, brings his son. That to me stands out when you just have those moments. You're like, wait, I saw you like 6 hours ago, 8 hours ago. Like, why are you still here? Like, why would we leave? Right? Like, that to me stays with me, right? And those moments, I think, are like why we do it. So I think there are always going to be like the big huzzah moments, like you're saying with RSF and like special guests. But if we really look at like why we do this thing too, it's because we want to create that memory. And what we always say behind closed doors, and so you guys know, it's like we want to put on a show that like we take our friends and family to, that we would do. And so when you get that validation, to me, I'm like, we're doing things right. And I think that's super cool to still make that connection. And even too, like people are like, why, like, what's going on? Like, why are you on the floor? I'm like, why, where else am I going to be? Like, this is what we're here to do. So I love that stuff.
That is what we're here to do.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Kathleen, feel free to share what your favorite moment of the show was, but I want to dive into the question to see if maybe you can give us something a little different, because you, as the show producer, have your eyes on everything, basically every centimeter of the show. So I want to know, was there anything that surprised you this year that you didn't expect to see? Something maybe between two vendors, like a collaboration moment. Maybe it was a moment in the arcade. Could be something on the main stage. I did not expect to see two of our coworkers, Haley and Michael, do a Mario Kart race with the carts. That was surprising, but also not surprising. I believe that our team did those things.
Okay, so I'll be brutally honest here. Again, I mentioned it a few minutes ago. Last year was rough. Last year, I I drove myself into the ground, getting the show produced, and so did our staff. Right? I mean, we were all tired, but Haley, Michael, Christine, everybody, we were just beat, right?
And by last year,
This
you mean
year,
2023, correct?
yeah, 2020, 2023. This year, we had a better, the IX really helped us. We just really hit a groove. It's hard producing a new show every year. So, it's Wagner's, then it's the basement of the IX Center, then it's upstairs, and you're just changing it every year. So this was the first time for me that I was producing the show in the same space year over year. And I didn't expect it to be much easier, but it was. And I got to see not only just the three of us enjoy the show, but my staff, my family, right, really enjoy. Haley got a tattoo at one point.
She did. She got the Ramona Flowers
that was
tattoo.
so cool.
Yeah, and Michael last year, he's an integral part of our day-to-day crew. His whole assignment last year was to make sure I had food and water and didn't fall over. And this year he didn't really have to do that. And so we were just kind of like going around and checking out and seeing how great everything was. That was operationally was a happy surprise for me. But for my favorite moments of the show, I think it was just how much more relaxed. I mean, not just our staff, but the vendors were in a great mood. The attendees, I mean, the not to sound like a young kid here, but the vibe was just really easy for everybody, right? It was a great time, and I'm really looking forward to 2025.
Absolutely. For all of those reasons, it definitely felt like a transformative year, 2024. And in my accounting of some of the things on the main stage, one thing I really love to do, which I would anticipate seeing more of in future years, is giving some of the other content to other people. For example, we, behind the scenes a little bit, dear listeners, put together a panel zone in probably under 2 months. So it's a lot of programming, but we put that all together, and it was all delegated. I didn't touch it at all, but between the people that are helping me out, like my friends Sullivan, Austin, and Abby, they helped keep an eye on that while we had everyone go up and down. And of course, my co-MC Molly, big shout out to Molly, and also a friend of the show, former guest of the podcast, Michelle Gray. I had a great time having her on for our trivia. And I would anticipate us seeing more things like that in the future. But speaking of some of those programming things, this is me. I'm going to do a little long road segue to keep this program going here. With all of those things that happen on the main stage, if you have yet to take a look at our YouTube, the Cleveland Gaming Classic YouTube channel, where we are posting a lot of the stuff that happened on the main stage. In fact, as of the date of the recording, the 19th of December, we just dropped the recording of the Indie Dev Awards. So you can go and take a look at the winners of our indie developers and the awards they got here at CGC. But we did that because we're kind of in the shade of an important milestone of gaming in the year, because we just came off of the Game Awards here in 2024. And with this expert panel that we've assembled here today, I figured that we too should hold just a little bit of judgment in our little engagement of the episode, because what's an episode of CGP without some activity? So we're going to do something that I see, and this actually, I'm shouting out a group that we saw at another show here in Ohio. They're called Co-op 64. I'm shouting out those guys because I love their content. I watch it on TikTok all the time, and they do these games. And if you ever see any of their stuff, I steal a little bit of their content in the form of the game, never the game itself, just to clarify. But we're going to do something they did, and we're going to do something called Keep 5 and Cut 5 here as a group. So in just a second, I'm going to share my screen with Kathleen and Tom. And I have picked 10 games, all of which have won Game of the Year in some way, shape, or form. And we're going to take turns, each one of us, to either keep one of these 5 games or cut one of these 5 games until we get a definitive list of 5 and 5. We're going to see if we together can have tastes or maybe cause just a little bit of tragedy for each other as we narrow down this list of 10 to 5 kept games and 5 cut games. All these games are very recognizable, so we should be able to do this together as a group unit.
So you saw me, Corey, you saw me laugh. So Final Fantasy 3 isn't on that list, or what?
I'm looking at the list. I'm not gonna lie, Tom. I very much wanted to put.
You probably debated it. You did.
There was at least 3 or 4 Final Fantasy games that have won Game of the Year, and I was like, should I put this on? And like, no. But don't worry, Tom. Don't worry. I've cherry picked a few on here for you anyway. Kathleen, I as a kind of the person that's new to the show, not one of the consistents like Tom and I, what kind of games do you enjoy? Like, what do you have like a favorite video game that you enjoy kind of cozying up with, or you like to kind of go back to when you have the tens of seconds in between running CGC and also all the local events in Northeast Ohio?
I haven't played a lot of new things. You know what? I was kind of like in a big empty hole when I had children, and they've been kind of a time suck. So I keep going back to things that I played a little bit before that. I've been playing Skyrim again. I like the open-ended, world kind of stuff, not follow the main quest, do all the side things, build your character, but it always ends up you're a stealth ranger, sneaker, whatever. So yeah, you know what? I always try a different build, and I always ended up like, why am I still sneaking everywhere? And that apparently is just my thing. So, but I always like to go back to play because it feels like putting on a warm blanket. So, yeah, that's kind of been what I've been playing.
Well, in dedication to that warm blanket vibe, I think there's a few games on here that kind of fit that vibe as well. So let's go ahead and sneak our way and share the screen here as you're going to see the 10 games that I have picked out that are winners of Game of the Year. So we have on here Street Fighter 2, a favorite of course, our charity last year, Radiant Science Foundation. GoldenEye 007, maybe one of the most pinnacles of land-based shooting games. Pokemon Yellow. I remember that game. I got that when I was on a particularly sick day from my parents. Tom might argue that eclipsing GoldenEye is Halo Combat Evolved. Super Mario Galaxy, some people might say one of the best platformers of all time. A preoccupation of my 2024, Fallout 4. Friend of the show and of course podcast guest as well, Dan Lalo, will appreciate that. Elden Ring also appearing on this list. We got Baldur's Gate 3, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and the winner of this year's Game of the Year award, that is Astrobot.
Astrobot, first of all, Astrobot is a great game, and it's probably the game that's gotten the most play in my household all year. It absolutely deserved to win.
Yeah. All right, I'll check it out. I have not.
You haven't played it?
I haven't played it.
So good.
I haven't played it either. My sad JRPG heart broke when Metaphor ReFantasio didn't win, but I understand why. Because Astrobot's for everybody. Everyone loves a platformer.
But the kids can play it? Like
kids can play it.
Oh, Lucas plays it. My youngest. He's just turned 5. It's his favorite. I mean, Sam plays it. My husband, my youngest plays it. Yeah, it is the game this year in our house.
I think it was a well-deserved win for sure. But now we got to take these 10 games, and we are going to take turns either saving one or cutting one. Once more through that list: Astrobot, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, Fallout 4, Super Mario Galaxy, Halo Combat Evolved, Pokemon Yellow, GoldenEye 007, and Street Fighter 2. As the guest of this episode, Kathleen, you are going to start. We're going to keep going around in a circle, all 3 of us, until we have 5 kept and 5 cut. So, Kathleen, I'm going to start with you. Of these 10 games, is there any that you want to remove from the list or save it to keep in our 5?
So do I only get to pick either I'm saving it or I'm getting rid of it?
You choose a game and you choose to keep or cut, and we're going to keep going in a circle until we have our 5.
Okay, well, I want to save Breath of the Wild. It's a great game.
Oh, that's a really good, solid choice there. I will say I think that changed the formula of one of the most pinnacle franchises in gaming history, of course, The Legend of Zelda. Also, it kind of fits your vibe, right? Open world gaming. It was kind of the first.
That's my vibe.
Yeah, it's
right
like
there.
one of the first Zelda games. Well, I guess you could say the original one to its point too, but truly, you can complete the game however you wanted to.
Right.
Absolutely. Good, solid choice there from Kathleen. Final boss, Mr. Tom Jenkins. It is now your choice if you want to save any of these remaining games or cut one of them.
I'm gonna cut one.
Oh, I knew I could count on you to get savage, sir.
I'm gonna get savage out the gate. I'm gonna cut Baldur's Gate 3.
What?
Yeah, because if I play it, my life will be over. So I have purposely avoided that game for.
You can play with the boys.
No.
And Sam, they all play it.
No, I'm not going to.
Huge time suck.
Yeah, the show will be canceled next year if we. I will. That's like me when I would play Skyrim. I mean, it just my life is over. Like I cannot play an immersive game like that. I have too much of an addictive personality where I can't do it. I need a game that I can play for 8 minutes and then walk away from.
I must have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in Skyrim. I don't even know
yeah.
if I want to admit that. Cut that out, Cory.
Probably won't, because I also have the same. All right, my turn here to cut or keep any of these games. You know, I'm looking at the 2 first-person shooters here, and I think only one can survive. And Tom, do you really think the first Halo is the best of all the Halos?
No, definitely not.
For that reason, I'm going to cut Halo off this list.
Double kill. Triple kill.
Let's talk about savage.
Well, you got rid of Baldur's Gate, sir. I just think that you'd much rather be teabagging people in Halo 2 than Halo 1, correct?
Yeah, look at this. We're trimming the fat. We're already making our New Year's resolution here. We're doing it.
Well, let's resolve to keep this list going. Kathleen, keep or cut, we have Breath of the Wild kept, Baldur's Gate 3 cut, Halo is also cut. Still got plenty on the board.
Yeah, I find it interesting you guys are cutting before you're keeping. I'm going to keep Pokemon.
I was going to do the same, actually, and then I just wanted to get Halo 1 out of there. But I do agree. I think Pokemon is just a great choice. Why did you choose it, Kathleen?
I played it and I loved it.
Great answer. I was going to say it helps represent some of our great cosplayers as well, and some of the unique looks and great things we saw on the Masquerade, including some Pokemon iconography. Also, I like the game too. Tom, your turn. Cut or keep. Left on the board, Astrobot, Elden Ring, Fallout 4, Super Mario Galaxy, GoldenEye 007, and Street Fighter 2.
So I have 2 I'd like to keep, but I'm weighing the decision between them. So I'm going to keep GoldenEye for the N64. I'm going to keep it. For the simple fact of, I feel like when that game came out, I think we're going back to holiday memories. I feel like when this game came out, a lot of core memories were established for me and my friends, and going over to everyone's houses and playing this, that then probably led to whether it was Mario Kart already was happening, and then this was the next iteration of it, and then Halo, and to everything we have today and still playing, whether it's Apex or Call of Duty or anything. I feel like that's what started that whole multiplayer revolution, if you will.
So Tom, I gotta ask you the question then: is Odd Job allowed, and do we like slappers only?
So we did allow Odd Job, but it would be like who could select it first, select the character first.
So it's a race over the,
it was a
over
race.
the A button.
We would play on Temple. Temple was the most common map. Or what was the other one? It had like all glass.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember. We had a bunch of glass in it. It was either Temple or that map. And then we I mean, Slappers Only was more popular than Golden Gun, but or in the Remote Mines, and then you would just throw them everywhere. I can hear that sound effect of just throwing the remote mine, and then someone just comes in the room and you hit it, and the whole screen just blows up for 30 seconds. That's a keeper.
Oh my gosh! All right, so we have GoldenEye now kept on here. I apparently am going to stay in the cut zone here. I'm going to cut Fallout 4. And the reason why I'm doing it, and trust me, I've played at least 80 hours of this game
this year. You've been playing it this year. Why are you going back to it?
Because of the TV series.
Okay.
And I never got to play Fallout 4. It came out when I was working on the cruise ship, and the game just required so much patching that it was kind of untenable to play. So,
I mean, when did it come out? Like 2018?
Yeah.
17?
That's when I was on the cruise ship, something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
It got a little repetitive, and I just did not like the building part of it. It wasn't my cup of tea, but it just felt like I was obligated to do it. And there's just always another settlement, according to Preston Garvey. No more settlements to save, Preston. I'm done. We're not done with this. Kathleen, what are we going to keep? What are we going to cut? You've got Astrobot, Elden Ring, Super Mario Galaxy, and Street Fighter 2 left. We're split 3-3.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep Astrobot.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, for my kids. It's for the kids.
Holidays are for the kids. Can't argue that one.
I didn't
Can't
really
argue that
like
one.
Super Mario Galaxy as much. I'll be honest. I like the older, Mario stuff, and I just have not been able to move on from that. And Elden Ring, I've only basically heard Dan talk about it. I have not, and watched other people play it, so I'm not gonna. I don't feel any, and I don't really like fighting games. So that's even if it wasn't, it still makes the most sense for me to choose that Astrobot. But it is one of my favorite games this year. So
You may not like fighting games, but when we all took a trip to Milwaukee, boy oh boy, were you just taking Tom out in Soul Calibur 2. You may not like him, but they like you.
that was button
It's
mashing.
true.
It was not really. I don't know. That was taking advantage.
It was all the Taco Bell
Yeah.
sauce packets give you
Yeah.
a boost.
Well, we got 3 games left, and Tom, you could close this out. You could pick one of these 3 games, and it's done, and we have our 5 list. Just a quick review. We've got Astrobot, Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Yellow, GoldenEye in our keep list, with Baldur's Gate, Fallout 4, and Halo cut. Elden Ring, Super Mario Galaxy, and Street Fighter 2 remain. Tom, you can cut something and make the ultimate choice come down to me, or pick one, and we have ourselves our 5.
Well, this is why I'm sitting here as you're talking. I'm like, you haven't been able to keep one. I'm like feeling bad for you, Cory. Like he cut Fallout 4, he cut Halo. Like Cory hasn't.
But that was his choice.
True. It's true.
You all were cutting. I got to keep 3 of these.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Tom, I'll also tell you, if I kept them, this segment would have been particularly short, so I was making a strategic play.
Okay, so with that being said, I don't care. I'm going to pick another one. I'm going to keep Elden Ring.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's actively the correct choice, Tom.
It's so good. And I think, like what I was talking about a second ago with Baldur's Gate and having to whack that game, Elden Ring is a game I feel like you can pick up for a shorter period of time and still play, but it's so freaking good. The graphics, the gameplay, it's so frustrating. You hate it, you love it.
Also, it doesn't hurt that your close friend Dan Lallo will be listening to this podcast, and he'll be like, "Yeah, you picked Elden Ring."
I told Dan about Elden Ring. I was the one that told him about it.
No, this is your fault.
Yeah, I'm the one that told Dan about Elden Ring. And I still haven't beaten Elden Ring because I've gotten basically to the end of the game, and I know it's the end of the game, and I don't want to beat it because it's also one of those games, so this is where I would take it off the list, where everything like kind of resets and you can play it all over again. I hate that. Like, I don't like that. Like, when you beat a game, just move on. Just move on. Good.
I'm a serial non-game beater. Like, I'll put hundreds of hours of things I just won't ever finish.
And that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's my point. I don't want to see it beaten. And I've heard, the map and all this stuff happens. I don't care. I don't want to beat it. I will never beat it.
Well, the good news is, Tom, you might be green light to finally beat Elden Ring, because at the Game Awards this year, we had Elden Ring Night Reign, the new edition of the game, announced. So maybe you go back and actually finish the story. Who knows?
Whatever. Dan will just tell us about it. It's fine.
He probably will, and do so at length. Well, we got our list. Pretty good what we got. We kept Astrobot, Breath of the Wild, Elden Ring, Pokemon Yellow, and GoldenEye 007. I like the choices. I think we have a solid keep 5 there. And I would definitely go back and probably play any of these games, although I haven't played Astrobot yet. Someday. First, I got to beat Metaphor ReFantazio. I need to get that monkey off my back. That game's really good. Tom, you'd hate it. It's a JRPG. It's basically Final Fantasy.
I don't know what you just said. It's about a metaphor and Fantastico.
It's the name of the game. Metaphor ReFantazio.
Okay, Cal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the head runner of our video game convention, Mr. Tom Jenkins.
I can't keep track of all these games. It's whatever. It's fine. I'm playing Call of Duty right now. Judge, as you will.
Well, you are the judge. You are the boss. And, of course, it's always great to have you here on the show. And it's also great to have you here, Kathleen. Thank you so much for joining us and give us a chance to celebrate this year's CGC, which I absolutely had a wonderful time with. And couldn't have done that without the two of you joining this ride on the podcast and, of course, at the show.
Yeah. And I'll see you both on Saturday, so you can lose. Well, no, probably not you, Cory. You don't really lose at card games. But Tom, you can lose at Munchkin to us.
I would love to play Munchkin.
Yeah.
I would love to see Lisa play Munchkin. Oh my god, it'd be so frustrating. Lisa's my wife. Like, she would lose her mind. She loves having.
What did we play together last year?
Oh,
we played Cards Against Humanity, and I was hitting on your wife. It was great.
Oh, I remember that. That got really awkward really quick.
It did.
Everyone was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
Well, all those nerds listening, tell us in the comments, what are the kind of games that you like to play? Do you hit on
Happy Holidays?
Do you hit on fellow family members-in-law? Let us know wherever this is posted, be it Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all those places. And of course, make sure you have the calendar dates set aside. September 19th through the 21st of 2025. CGC is coming back, and we're so excited to continue to celebrate video gaming and all types of gaming with you nerds out there.
You still got it, Cory.
Come on, Tom. I believe in you.
Oh, is this where you want me to say my line?
I believe in you, Tom.
Oh. But Cory.
Yes, Tom.
And Kathleen.
Indeed.
Yes.
What do you think? Do we hit save on this file for now?
Good job, Tom.
And we'll write the password down as well. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Cleveland Gaming Podcast. My name is Cory.
This is Final Boss Tom.
This is show producer Kathleen.
And we'll catch you on the next episode. Happy holidays.
CGP.
Cleveland Gaming Podcast.
Powering down.